I want to thank Ari and Lauren for reaching out to me to say, while Broadway is closed, while the theater is a little bit shuttered right now, they are using their skills and talents, looking for progressive women who are running for office. And I handed them, probably a dozen or so names of women across the country who are running for office right now. But I felt really moved, of course. And for many of you, this is the first fundraiser I've ever held. And it is for Cori Bush, because I believe in her deeply. I believe in the possibility that she has for Missouri's 1st District, which many of you know covers Ferguson, Missouri, where Michael Brown was killed over 5 years ago, where the history has repeated itself in the murder of Black men and the increased police brutality and violence that we see with George Floyd in Minneapolis, and the vigilante murder of Ahmaud Arbery and others in the recent events. But there is a lot of reason to be hopeful. And one of those reasons to be hopeful is Cori Bush, and is her vision for where she wants to take the country, is her experience, her lived experiences as a mom, as a single mom, as a pastor, as a registered nurse. And many of you can agree with me when I tell you that we need more medical professionals in Congress today, because we have a real lack of understanding about medicine and science, and the wearing of masks and other such things. So I'm just so thrilled to potentially have another registered nurse alongside another friend of mine, Lauren Underwood. That would be two registered nurses in Congress, which would be fantastic. So I want to let Cori say hello, but then we're going to go right into the performance from Ari and from Lauren, and it's going to be beautiful.
Thank you so much, Erin. Thank you for you all. This is amazing, and I'm just still stunned. And I'm not often speechless, but I kind of am right now. Thank you all so much for supporting and wanting to do this. Like I'm outdone. So let's get ready for this. I'm so excited about this musical moment, virtual musical moment. I've never seen this before, so let's do it.
Of course, I want to thank all of our donors. I'll reveal our big number at the end, but thank you everybody who contributed.
Everybody.
All right, take it away, Lauren and Ari.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lauren Gunderson, and I am speaking from San Francisco, California, traditional lands of the Ohlone people. I'm the book writer of this musical, and I am overjoyed to be sharing this with you, especially as we put our art, our activism, our hearts, our hopes, and yes, our wallets, thank you very much, behind the incredible Cori Bush.
And I am Ari Afsar, the composer and lyricist of Jeanette. I am in Los Angeles, the traditional lands of the Chumash and Tongva people. And when I opened the musical Hamilton as Eliza in Chicago a month before the 2016 election, it changed how I saw my art, my activism, and the history of women in this country. I went looking for our founding mothers, who were the first leaders elected. What could they teach us now? And with one Google search, I discovered the first female identifying candidate to run for Congress and win. She was a Montana rancher's daughter named Jeanette Rankin.
Jeanette was elected not in the 60s or the 30s, but in 1916. 100 years before Hillary won the popular vote and lost the election, and 4 years before the 19th Amendment ratified by enough states to make votes for women across this nation a part of our Constitution.
Well, votes for white women. Our show is a discovery of one of our founding mothers, but it is also a reckoning with the power and necessity of what voting means. That despite her work on suffrage, Black women, Asian women, Indigenous women were all barred from voting. So what does that reality mean for the continual work we do today for equality, justice, and freedom for all?
We wrote this musical about Jeanette Rankin because we believe that the ferocity of her spirit is alive and well today and is part of what is needed to make our country a more perfect union for all. Of course, we see that same intelligence, ferocity, determination, grace, and grit in Cori Bush. That's why we're here.
We hope you enjoy this musical preview about a woman who ran, a woman who won, and a woman who made a difference.
But of course, we really hope that you vote for the next woman who's going to do that and more. You know who we're talking about. Go, Corey.
Our show begins with Jeanette looking out over the hills and fields of her home state of Montana, the traditional native lands of the Blackfeet, Crow, Cheyenne, and Sioux people. And she says,
Montana, mountains, rivers, big land, big sky, big dreams. If you're a man. I'm not, but I love a challenge. I was 7 when the newsboy ran up, fall 1889. He tells my mother that we're now a part of the Union. I said, Mama, what does that mean? She said, it means you're not just a Montana girl, Jeanette. Now you're an American. And suddenly the skinny, bored little girl felt like she could be a part of a huge new idea. If she ever got out of the town where she grew up, called Hellgate.
5 miles down the Clark Fork Stream, round and round we keep doing our thing. 4,312 living in the heart of the 46th parallel. Promise me that you'll never leave. Montana rolls like a stone through weeds. Covered till my fingers swell. Just another day in the 46th parallel. Living here in Hellgate, where the summer's sweet, doing it our way. This is all we need, feeling good, good and full of bright. Sun is shining right inside. It's all I've known. I'm home in Hellgate. Beauty runs in the river deep. The better air of the Bozeman East. Black you making me go weak. Loyalty does not come easy. Oh. A million men more than we need. We do fun without all their greed. What we gonna do when we backed in a corner? Use our scopes, we make the order. Living here in Hellgate, where the summer's sweet, doing it our way. This is all we need, feeling good, good and full of bright. Sun is shining right inside. It's all I've known. I'm home. Ooh, 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 living here in Hellgate, where the summer's sweet, choosing it every day. This is all we need, feeling so, so good. My mama knew I would. It's all I've known. I'm home in Hellgate.
Jeanette decides that one of her life goals will be to fight for women's suffrage for her home state of Montana. A lot of men and women supported her, but a lot of men and women did not. But she kept going. And she says to the Montana State House, the first woman to speak there, gentlemen, today I urge you to pass the bill before you, granting women voting rights across this state. I know that many of you already agree that women earn wages and pay taxes, and right now they do so without representation in their own government, and that's wrong. Many of you already see that you can and must fix this by granting statewide suffrage, and I thank you. But to those of you who don't yet agree with me, I understand. This change feels grand and untested, but I promise you that if you join us, you will be on the right side of history, the right side of workers, the right side of American families. Give women the vote, and they will give you the future.
Those men listened and passed the bill to let women vote in the state of Montana. But that wasn't enough. Now Jeanette thinks,
If I run, all of those women could vote for me.
so with the help of her brother and sister and a movement of people ready to do something that has never been done before, she runs and wins.
On the night of her victory, she says to a massive crowd, Montana, our work starts today. I go to Washington to work for mothers, children, mine workers, teachers, for all Montanans who trusted in me to fight for them. But to those of you who did not support me, know that I fight for you too. And on day one of my term in office, right after I introduce a House resolution to put the 19th Amendment granting women's suffrage into our Constitution, I will get to work for all Montanans who want peace, prosperity, and equality. Thank you, Montana. We have made history together.
We've been trying, woman, a child, couldn't make it easy, could live in denial. We saw the world end, but it keeps spinning, whether we're losing, whether we're winning. Then they start to fade, while we're wide awake and feeling alive. Been staying up late, cause we know the stakes of losing the light. We won't sleep, they'll try to get us. We gon' reach out for love. We won't sleep, no, not till it's over. Even with the blurry eyes, baby, we won't compromise. I dreamed in color when I was younger, painted a picture, one hand in the other. Now I see shadows outside my window, but I won't close them, no, not when we know that they start to fade while we're wide awake and feeling alive. Been staying up late, cause we know the stakes of love and the light. We won't sleep, they'll try to get us, but we gon' reach out for love. We won't sleep, no, not till it's over. Even with the blurry eyes, baby, we won't compromise. Talking for the pride, say we got no time, though the feeling's gonna rise. It's not too late to realize we can be the first, not be fooled by words. You're finally gonna learn how to wake up and shake the world. We won't sleep, they'll try to get us. We gon' reach out for love. We won't sleep, no, not till it's over. Even with the blurry eyes, maybe we won't compromise. We won't sleep, no, even with the blurry eyes. We won't sleep, they'll try to get us, but we gon' reach out for love. We won't sleep, no, not till it's over. Even with the blurry eyes, baby, we won't compromise.
At this point in the show, things change, and we see what's truly at the heart of voting rights in America. We'll get back to Jeanette Rankin and her fight for women's suffrage in 1917, but we're going to jump ahead for a minute because, of course, American women do get the right to vote when the 19th Amendment passes in 1920. Of course, we mean white women get the right to vote.
It's a turn of the century. We are here to break down the story. We won't leave it all gonna disrupt. We're gonna disrupt these memories. In 1920, I would not have the right to vote. My father is from Noakhali, Bangladesh, and Asian Americans did not get the right to vote until 1952. Now, in this moment of the show, all 14 of the actors would address their voting rights ancestry to illuminate the disfranchisement of so many communities. In 2013, the Supreme Court overturned a provision act of the 65 Voting Rights Act, and we lost a tool to combat racial discrimination. When voting is supposed to be the right of all American citizens, not just white ones. And we are here to break down the story. We won't leave it all up to history. We're gonna disrupt. We're gonna disrupt these memories.
Jeanette goes to Congress and on the 4th day in office is met with the trial of her career. The president is forcing a vote on declaring war against Imperial Germany, which would become World War I. Jeanette is a pacifist. Jeanette believes that all diplomatic efforts haven't been exhausted yet, and that war won't solve anything for long. She also knows that a vote against the war will turn her political allies against her, and that all her work for the 19th Amendment will be stalled, if not erased. But she can't vote against her conscience. So she votes no.
I'm just one voice, and the 1,000 up against me. I've made my choice to say what I wanna. Gonna say what I wanna say. If no one hears my voice, is it only noise?
After the backlash against her voting no on the war, where even her brother tells her she's not welcome in Montana anymore, and after a lame duck 2 years in office, she's voted out.
This is not only due to her pacifist voice, but to the massive gerrymandering campaign against her that came from big industry after she was elected. The system turned on her.
When Jeanette's sister visits her at the end of her term, she confesses.
I'm telling you, I think I set us back. Everyone can point to me and say, this is what happens when you give a woman power.
No, Jeanette's sister says, this is what happens when you give a woman power.
Edna opens up a sack of letters from women across the country and shows them to Jeanette.
Hundreds of them, Jeanette, sent to the house every day, women all across the country asking for help or hope or just to say, thank you, I've never had a woman in charge to write to. Maybe you'll understand. Mothers, grandmothers, more than a few marriage proposals, thank God. Teachers, social workers, students, nurses, little girls. I brought 3 trunks of letters for you, Jeanette, which is why I said, get up, because we're writing every one of them back.
Jeanette is a citizen now, in the summer of 1920, when all eyes are on the State House of Tennessee. Harry T. Byrne was the junior state senator from Tennessee who was supposed to vote no on the 19th Amendment. And then he got a note from his mother the night before the vote. And she says, be a good boy and put the rat in ratification. This next song, Tennessee, starts from Feb to her son. Guess I waited out till it's over. Don't you forget I call you son. In the end, it's always me. Now your words are sound cheap. I can't believe you'd go against your only mama. Remember all the plans that you told me of how you'd make it big someday. With every breath you make me proud as you're fighting all your doubts. But don't you see me looking, dreaming from the outside? Dear baby, gotta make this easy or you're on your own. bold black pen I'm gonna sign in stone. I feel holy rising. My bones are turning cold. Never felt like this before. My eyes are open. Every fiber of my being driving right up through the ceiling to Tennessee. I never knew that this could happen. While I hold my daughter's hand, Mama, let me wipe your tears. This is just another year, but I'm seeing beauty for the first time in my life. I'm finally watching all the pieces. My baby boy did good today. I fled the house so I'd be safe. Grab my hand-me-down suitcase. And Mrs. Anthony, I'm voting in your name. Dear baby, gotta make this easy or you're on your own. Bold black pen, I'm gonna sign in stone. I feel holy rising. My bones are turning cold. Never felt like this before. My eyes are open. Every fiber of my being driving right up through the ceiling to Tennessee. To Tennessee. Can't find it in my heart to stay, 'cause forgiveness always testing me to live in all the mess we made. The world's spinning every day, and despite the hours we sacrificed, we know that we just did it right. I feel holy rising. My bones are turning cold. Never felt like this before. My eyes are open. Every fiber of my being driving right up through the ceiling to Tennessee.
Now that you know Jeanette's story, let's make her vision, her ambition, and her open heart part of all of our stories by electing Cori Bush. Because all of us are required to fight for all of us in this moment and in every one after it.
This is the heart and the soul. I was scared of the day with nothing to my name. All the boys growing strong, trying to own what they became. Now I don't need that pink dress or the heels to make me smile. All I wanted was a chance to make this time on earth worthwhile. My voice ain't so loud, my sights turn them down. But you better get one thing right, I'm gonna win that fight. This is the heart and the soul. You're gonna wake up and see the pieces in the light. You're not gonna tell on stone. Stronger in numbers, we can be winning the fight. This is the heart and the soul. Gonna live to the day where I can write my name. Make it count where it hurts, 'cause everyone's the same. Now I want that handout or second class. I may be stubborn as a fool, but I'm gonna find the truth. My voice ain't so loud, my sights turn them down. But let me make one thing straight, there's no more time to waste, yeah. come since the beginning of time, never seen someone like you in the spotlight. How do you know? How do you know that we are all bold and powerful? It may not come easy, but we have to search for our foremothers. It may not come free, but we have to take the time to uncover the women who came before. We need more, the bold and powerful. It's not quite a surprise that in their eyes the fire was always inside, whether it be in 1916 trying to get the vote passed, or today trying to get every state to see the ERA, fighting for the right to our bodies, whom we love, who we trust, whom we love, who we become, fighting for that right our own way, yesterday and today. Jeanette Reagan was a win we seem to forget, yet she kept going and going, fighting for that first seat that seemed out of reach. For each step she took brought her 3 steps back, yet she kept going and going on one single track. I bring it back to the women who came before. We demand more, because we are bold and powerful.
This is a heart and a soul.
That I don't know what to say. That was so powerful. It was so fantastic. It is, Corey, that's going to be a tough act to follow. That was amazing. The history, the intersectionality of the work that you have pulled together, it was so beautiful. Thank you so much for doing that, for being a part of this fundraiser, for all of you who gave. And our main attraction, of course, is Miss Cori Bush, but I would tell you that was really powerful and makes it just so worth it. And so I'm just so grateful to you all. Thank you so much. Corey, the floor is yours. You are, the future of all of that history. You are exactly the vision that should be in Congress. You are the woman to be carrying this torch forward. Of generations of women whose shoulders we stand on. And I can't think of a better woman to do this fundraiser for. We have raised over $7,000 in 4 days, y'all. That is amazing. I want to thank Lisa. Some of you made some pretty big gifts. Some of our friends, I texted you for $25 and you came in at 4 or 5 times that amount. So I'm grateful to all of you. Welcome, Abby. And we will get your recording of the performance if you came in late as well. But please, I want to turn it over to Cori Bush. I think we may also show the new ad that's up. And there's just so much work to do, and I can't wait to hear your vision, Cori. So thank you.
Whew, I'm glad you went first, Erin. After that, I didn't. The same thing Erin said, I didn't know what to expect. I look a mess. Oh my God. I didn't know what to expect, but that was absolutely amazing. Like, I'm blown away by that. And I'm blown away, at the talent, Lauren, now I understand why you have the title that you have, Ari, like, I just hope that you just go so far. I hope that this thing that more people get to hear this. I'm going to push the heck out of this, so people can see and hear this, and the fact that you all did this totally 100% on your own. And the message is so rich, it's so rich and it's so now. And I mean, like, that message was just all up in me. It was like I couldn't, but anyway, I think we have the video queued, the commercial queued up. Are we ready? Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna get myself together for a second, let the video go, and then I'll come back where I can speak, because I don't know, Ari, you just messed me up. I feel like I went to church, I don't know. I just. I'm Cori Bush, nurse, pastor, single mom. Like you, I've wondered, where's our justice these last 20 years? I've struggled paycheck to paycheck, asking where's our progress? And as a Black mom, I'm sick of having to say, just make it home safely. I'm Cori Bush, and I approve this message because Lacy Clay hasn't risen to meet this moment. He's presided over 20 years of decline. It's time for a change, for new leadership that works for you. It's our time to make history. Yeah, thanks. So, you know, let me just say that the message of you know, this uh, hopefully it'll get to Broadway, you know, like as soon as COVID, you know, releases its grip, you know, and so many people have to see this and hear this. Like, I can't even, like, I'll say this, I feel right now the way that I felt after I saw Knock Down the House put together. Amy Villela is here with me in the space. When we sat at Sundance and we got to see it with everyone at the same time, we didn't see all of it, you know, beforehand, the way that it was on the screen, and seeing it on that screen and hearing everybody scream and cry, and it was like scream, cry, yell, laugh, you know, back and forth. That's what this was. It was like all of the emotions, just a roller coaster, and I just can't believe it. And I feel like you just poured into me to be able to finish. "12 days." And let me say, these aren't, you know, sucker tears. These are tears of fight and pride. I'm so proud of what you all have done. I'm proud of every single woman that you just highlighted and that struggled and went through so much so that I could be here, so that you could be here and doing what you're doing, so that the door is open for people like me to be able to step in and not just vote. You know, because they can always, you know, Black women, oh yeah, come and vote. We need your voting block. But when do we get to lead? You know, and so when do brown women get to lead? When do people pay us attention? You know, how often do we push up our Asian community and so that they can lead? But that's what this is speaking about. And so I just want to encourage you, you know, in the work. Thank you so much, because you just ignited a new fire in me, you know, and you know, listening to your words, you know, we won't sleep till it's over. We won't sleep till it's over. That we won't compromise. You know, you said we're going to disrupt these memories. You know, we're going to disrupt these memories. That's what we're doing, even out on the street, you know, as we're fighting, you know, for Black lives with the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor protests. You know, I've been doing this since 2014 for Mike Brown. Didn't know what I was stepping into, but I knew that I had to be there because somebody's baby was laying on the street in the hot St. Louis humid sun, burning on the street for 4.5 hours, just laid out on the street, not even covered up with a sheet, just laying there for other people to just walk by and see this baby's body. My son is 20, and this was an 18-year-old baby laying in the street, murdered unjustly. And so that fight, we've continued that up until now. But one thing that I saw, you know, I'm going from protest to Congress. I always said protest to politics, but I'm making it even more specific. I'm going from protest to Congress. And the reason why that's needed is because the work that we've done on the streets, all the work that we did in Ferguson, we protested more than 400 days. And then we kept that going. We protested again after that. We took the protest around the country, helping other groups protest. I've even done work across the, you know, internationally. I've helped in Sudan. I've helped in Afghanistan and in Egypt, doing nonviolent conflict resolution. And then here we are right now as we're fighting the pandemic of COVID. We never stop fighting the pandemic where Black lives are disproportionately murdered, you know, by police in this country, and the pandemic of a lack of health care and wage inequality and all of these, you know, children in cages in our own country right now as we go to McDonald's and we go to the grocery store and you know, we do all of these things about our day, but there are still children in cages right now in our country. There are people who are living on starvation wages, but we're giving billions of dollars, you know, to war profiteers, when right now we have our own war in this country. People sleeping on the ground and they don't have adequate shelter, and it goes on and on. And so that's why people like me have to run. I've been there. I'm that person that lived out of a car with 2 babies, moving it around my city to make sure that that the police didn't stop me and take my kids from me. I'm someone who worked low wage, not because I didn't deserve more, but that's all that they were offering. And that was the job that I had at the time. For 10 years, I couldn't make more than $10 an hour. I think about how I made, as a Black woman, I get to make, I'm allowed to make 61 cents on every single dollar, you know, and my white male counterpart gets to make the full dollar. And I don't understand, because I'm not giving a 61 cent effort. I'm giving a 100% effort for this work. And so I feel like somebody has to step up and say and speak to that thing. But when you can speak to that thing because you are that thing, or you've been in that thing, you know, that's what that time is right now. And so that's what I plan to do in Congress. And we have 12 days to make a difference. And this, what you just did, this pushes me even harder. It pushes me even more. It gives me more of a vision to see, you know, when the attacks come, remember that word that you just gave. I'm going to remember you singing, Ari. I'm going to remember that over these next 12 days. Lauren, I'm going to remember your words and how not only that, we have to keep it in context, you know, so you gave it context. And so I appreciate that. And every single person that decided to donate, you know, Aaron, the fact that you even decided to set this up, I know you went outside of what you regularly do, but let me say this, it won't be in vain, because Aaron, I'm going to not only work for St. Louis, I'm going to work for our entire nation. But I believe that when we come together working for our entire nation, that it will not only affect change right here in the United States, it will affect change across our world. We have people reaching out to us. Amy can attest to it. People reaching out to us from across the world. I mean, we have people reaching out, and I don't even know where these places are. I have to go Google it to see where is this on the map, you know, because we are affected. And these are women saying, I feel empowered because I saw you, or you did this, and I feel like I can do this in my own country. That's who we have to be. So thank you so much. Every single dollar that has been donated to this campaign, it's going to great use. The only thing we're doing in these last 12 days is helping to get the word out and keep the message clear. We're keeping the message very clear. And part of that message, though, it has to be that the fact is, if I win this seat, I will be the very first woman to ever take this seat. It's been 172 years. I will be the very first ever Black Congresswoman from the state of Missouri in the history of American history, you know, so it will be Black history, it'll be St. Louis history, it'll be Missouri history, and it will be U.S. history, you know, all at the same time. And it's not about, you know, gender politics or anything like that. It's about facts, and that's the fact, you know. And so this that you are doing is helping this campaign so much. So when we cross that finish line victorious on August the 4th, when that day comes, when they say we didn't know she could do it, we didn't think she could do it. Yeah, she raised a few dollars, but it was a machine that was behind her. Well, we got a machine too, and it looks like you. It looks like you. It's this machine of you. And so thank you. Each dollar is going into something, into some type of advertisement. So we're going to work the mess out of these dollars. Let me say this, because I'm a single mom who, like I said, I lived out of a car. I used to mix my kids' formula in the bathroom at McDonald's. You know, I knew how to work a dollar then. We can work a dollar now. So thank you for every single thing. And thanks for all the support. And I'm going to shut up now. But like you all said, peace, prosperity, and equality. We're fighting for it. I'll be your Congresswoman. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Do you have time for maybe one or two questions?
I do.
Okay, you can turn yourself off mute if you'd like, or you can put it in the chat. I'll happily read it if you want to just write it in the chat. But I think, you know, one of the things when I found out about, you know, the congressman who's currently in office, 19 years, his dad was in this seat 32 years. You know, Vote Run Lead did a training in St. Louis, just, you know, 15 minutes from Ferguson, and we, you know, toured the community several times. We organized in the community, and the, you know, the dilapidation, the lack of investment that, you know, that this person has been in this seat for 20 years and this community is not thriving, is a testament to needing change. So Someone's donating again. I love that. Thank you, Annie. Do we have any questions? Does anyone want to ask Corey a question? You also don't have to. It's okay too.
No questions?
Erin?
Yes.
Hey, it's Lisa.
Lisa.
Hi, I don't have a question, but I just want to let Corey know I saw you in Knock Down the House and I thought, my God, that woman is amazing. And so I'm so glad that you're running again. Your fire is what we need here in Washington. And boy, oh boy, I'm waiting for August 4th. I'm very excited for your candidacy and so glad that Erin gave me an opportunity to help you out. So good luck.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you.
More than welcome.
That's really encouraging. You know, sometimes people say, well, why would you run against a Democrat, somebody who's experienced, has been there for 20 years? Well, part of that's the problem. That experience hasn't held up for 20 years. We don't feel it. And as like Erin said, there's so much decay in our community. We're always fluctuating between number 1 and number 2 for violent crime, for homicides, and then also top 5 for violent crime. We have, high poverty in this community, and it's not getting better. We're number 1. We've been number 1 for police murders in this country since 2013. From 2013 to 2019, number 1 for police murder, and we have the same person that's been our congressperson. When I was unhoused, when I was in the payday loan cycle, when I was low wage, when I was uninsured, all of that happened under this same leadership. And I'm tired, and my people can't go through this. And so that's why I'm standing up and I'm fighting. So I got 12 days to really make a difference. And so if you'll stand with me for these next 12 days, I promise that I will give you 2 years, 2 hardcore years of work, 2 hardcore years of work, 2 hardcore years of work, just making sure that I'm
we know you will. Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
And many more after that.
Absolutely.
I was talking with Corey's team about, where any additional funds are going, where these funds are going. Yes, they need to get these ads up. As you know, TV is really important for congressional campaigns, but they also have a boatload of volunteers who they're going to be giving gas cards to. So, Corey just talked to us about who's in her community. They're community level volunteers who can't get out and drive people to the polls if they don't have gas in their tank, So I know everybody has given, but I'd love for you to consider, in the next 12 days, if it's something you'd like to do again, or if you have 2 friends, right? If there are 2 people that you can ask, hey, can you match the donation that I have given? You can send them this recording. They will be moved after that recording, but this is the crunch time. So we ask that you do that, in the now, because this is a primary. Yeah. And the incumbents have a lot of advantages in primaries. People just don't know, there isn't enough words. And I just did a panel on Missouri voting. They make it so damn hard for Missourians to vote with taking your absentee ballot to a notary and getting that notarized. It's like, why are you going to do that for coronavirus? You might as well actually go to the polling place on the day of. You have to have your ballot mailed in. If it's a mail-in ballot, that lands at the election desk on election day. All of those are voter suppression tactics that are purposeful and by design. So these volunteers that are doing these gas cards and stuff are actually really critical to get people the day of, because this is really going to be a day of turnout game for Corey on the 4th.
Yes, and we're also going to make sure that we have people on the polls. When I ran in 2018, we didn't have enough of our polling places covered. One thing that was an issue is people. We saw people coming out after voting saying, and then they're seeing the lit or they saw a sign and it's like, oh, that's Cori Bush? I thought Cori Bush was a white man, because people are looking at Cori and the last name Bush. People assume Bush is, doesn't look like, and so that was a big thing for us. And so now we have we have 3 highway billboards, and we also have 8 roadway billboards up, and that's quite a bit of money. But that's the kind of advertising we have to do. We have to do a bit more to show people, like, who is this person that's talking about representing you. And so every single dollar is going to matter. Our yard signs, in 2018, I did have my face on my yard signs. And I remember purchasing yard signs for, we would get 500 yard signs for $1,400. Now, because my face are on them, we get 500 yard signs for $4,600. So it's like this huge, so things are a lot more expensive. So, thank you for donating. We appreciate it. If you have somebody else that you can reach out to that can may be able to donate by the end of July, that would help out tremendously. We want to stay on television. That ad is running now. It's running on broadcast, and it's also running on cable. And so we want to make sure. The other thing is, with COVID, so many people are not driving around. So they may not see the signs. And so we're getting to them by TV and by radio. And so we're getting to them by TV and by radio. Okay, I got it. So this is how we have to do it. Every single dollar is going to count. Also, our the incumbent has never done the type of campaigning he's doing right now. He's never done before. So we know that we're getting somewhere. We know we're moving. When we ran the last time, we brought into the campaign like $176,000, the entire campaign. This time we've already raised over $600,000. Small dollar donations, no corporate PACs, no lobbyists, even though 76% of his money does come from there. So with your help, with your friends' help, we can take this few more days. Whether it's $1, we've done fundraisers that have been $1. We've asked people donate $1. Everybody donate $1 until the next 24 hours. We've done that, and we've gone all the way up to ask people for the max donation of $2,800. So every single piece counts. We wanted to make sure everybody knew, because I'm one of those people that couldn't afford to donate, the kind of money I wanted to my favorite candidate. So we opened that up like, hey, we let people know you can donate $1 to us, and people did. And so we don't look at that dollar any less than we look at that $2,800. But both of them, when you put them together, helps us to get across this finish line. So go team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lauren and Ari. Oh my God, you are beautiful and amazing.
Oh.
Thank you, John and Stacy, Abby, Annie, Lisa. Let me get everybody. Amanda, Marketon. Hey, Marketon. Preetham and Pooja. Kate, a bunch of Erin Velarde, so I don't know what it is. Aisha, my mom, is on. That's amazing. Audrey, Vanessa Cooksey, who's right in St. Louis, who is a vote for you, Corey. I don't know if I should say that out loud. But she's here, so I think you got a local. And Audrey. Thank you all so much. Emerson and Peanut Butter Mark and my sister and Abby. I appreciate all of you coming on and doing this and spreading the word. Thank you. And thank you so much, Corey.
Yay.
Love
Thank you all. Thank you.